Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Gardener. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's June 11th. Here's another idea for your garden journal. Flip toward the back and save 2 pages. On one page, write successes, and on the other, failures. In the garden, we learn equally from both. Here's today's brevities. It's National Corn on the Cob Day, June 11th. Corn is part of the grass family. It's a cereal crop, and a cob of corn is actually part of the flower, and an individual kernel is a seed. On average, an ear of corn has 800 kernels and 16 rows. And by the way, corn on the cob will always have an even number of rows. And it was on this day that the English landscape painter John Constable was born. He was born in Suffolk, England, an area now known as Constable Country. When he wrote to his friend John Fisher in 1821, he said, "I paint my own places best, and painting is but another word for feeling." Gardeners will enjoy Constable's painting of the trunk of an elm tree and his 1815 paintings of a kitchen garden and flower garden. And it was right about this time of year, spring and midsummer, that Constable considered the most important times of the year for a landscape painter. He didn't care for autumn. He felt the leafless trees were not inspiring to paint. John Constable gave us a number of wonderful quotes. Here's a sampling. "Nature is the fountain's head, the source from whence all originality must spring. And landscape is my mistress. 'Tis to her I look for fame." When I sit down to make a sketch from nature, the first thing I try to do is forget that I have ever seen a picture. And it's the birthday of Julia Margaret Cameron, the mother of photography, who was born on this day in Calcutta in 1815. In 1863, Cameron was given a camera by her daughter and son-in-law, and she made her very first photograph at the age of 49. Her niece, Virginia Woolf, wrote that the camera was an outlet for the energies that she had dissipated in poetry and fiction, in doing up houses, in concocting curries, and entertaining her friends. At the time, Cameron had just moved to the Isle of Wight, an island off the southern coast of England. On the Isle of Wight, Cameron converted the hen house in her garden into her darkroom and another building into her studio. One of her most famous photos is called "The Rosebud Garden of Girls," a phrase taken from Tennyson's "Come into the Garden, Maud." The photo was taken in June 1868, and it shows 4 beautiful young Victorian women wearing white robes like you'd find on a Greek goddess. The setting is a lush garden. Their hair flows freely down past their shoulders. They each hold a blossom, and they each cast their gaze far off in slightly different directions. It's a very dreamy, almost trance-like, innocent image, the Rosebud Garden of Girls. In today's Unearthed Words, here are some poems about June. So sweet, the roses in their blowing, so sweet the daffodils, so fair to see, so blithe and gay the hummingbird a-going from flower to flower A Hunting with the Bee. That was from Nora Perry's In June. Here's one from Henry David Thoreau. It is dry, hazy June weather. We are more of the earth, farther from heaven these days. Finally, here's one from Thomas Love Peacock. In a bowl to sea went wise men three on a brilliant night of June. They carried a net, and their hearts were set on fishing up the moon. Today's book recommendation is the American Horticulture Society's A to Z Encyclopedia of Garden Plants by Christopher Brickle. This is a nice little resource with more than 15,000 plants and 6,000 photographs and illustrations. Today's garden chore is to plant some chamomile. Chamomile is an aromatic herb. Every year I save all the flowers from my last flowering plants. I store them and then replant them the next growing season. Chamomile blooms from June to July, and flies are the main pollinator of chamomile flowers. The word chamomile has Greek origins. Chamos means ground, and milos means apple. The name chamomile is apropos. It grows close to the ground, and it smells like apple. There is one caution about chamomile that you should be aware of. People that are allergic to ragweed will probably have an allergy to chamomile. And it's a flower in the same family as the aster and the daisy, and it's the national flower of Russia. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. On this day in 1982, a little movie about a botanist was released. It began with a group of alien botanists who secretly visit Earth under the cover of night to gather plant specimens in a California forest. The authorities show up, the aliens flee in their spaceship, but in their haste, they leave one of their kind behind. A 10-year-old boy named Elliot discovers something hiding in the family's tool shed. Elliot leaves Reese's Pieces candy to lure the alien to his house, and later his siblings Michael and his 5-year-old sister Gertie meet it. They decide to keep E.T. hidden from their mom. E.T. demonstrates his powers by reviving dead chrysanthemums. In the end, he says goodbye to Michael and Gertie, and she gives him the chrysanthemum that he had revived. He takes it, boards the spaceship, and heads home, leaving a rainbow in the sky. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced weekdays in lovely Maple Grove, Minnesota. You can find complete show notes over at thedailygardener.org, and be sure to share the show with your garden friends. You can find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, and of course, Facebook. While you're over at Facebook, don't forget to join the Daily Gardener community. Just search for these 3 words, Daily Gardener Community. The group will pop right up, and then request to join. Finally, I want to thank my team at Podfly Productions, where my fabulous editor is Eric Begay. Have a great day in the garden, and we'll see you tomorrow.